Hi, thank you for joining Reverend Fred and Dr. Cari on the couch. And we want to talk with you today about the importance of having safe spaces in your life. One of the things that Fred and I have discovered throughout the years, because he and I both do individual counseling with lots of people. Fred's been doing it how many years? Since the 1960s?
Yeah, that's about right.
So however many years that is.
About right.
And I've been doing that since the late 1990s. What I have found so often, Fred, is that people, especially if they're from certain cultures, they've been told, don't let anybody know your business.
That's true. That's true.
And so they will keep in their hearts and in their minds, locked away, a lot of very deep pain.
Absolutely. Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. And that can wreak havoc with your body, with your mind, and with your soul. And because that happens, when you can get a place or someone that will at least just listen, you start just letting it all out.
Yeah.
I mean, it just pours out like a river, because it is a dammed up river. It's a dammed up I don't mean to curse, I mean it's dammed up. A dammed up emotional and psychological and spiritual.
And spiritual.
Yes.
Yes. And we all need that space, which is why you can be on the plane or a train or a bus and a stranger will share his or her deepest, darkest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was coming here and I was I was coming here and walking up the street here, and this lady passed me and started talking. There's something about she was late or something like that. And you know, it was very brief, but for some reason or another, there I was. And you know what I found out? I said this to one person the other day. It's your presence and your listening power that people need. Just be present.
Yeah. And
there may be more later on, but what people need most of all is for us to be present. I have a person who comes to work with me, and he sits in one of the chairs, and this was an inclement day, and I said, hey, he's not going to come. He came, and he said, you know why I came? Because when I sit here, that's when I feel I can open up. He had made that spot his space.
That spot, yes.
So it's so important.
Yeah. And you know, so many of us may have opinions one way or the other regarding certain television programming where people get up and share some of the things you would think nobody ought to share that. I've had sex with my wife and her 5 sisters, or whatever it might be. And many of us think nobody would share some of those kinds of things, but we all need a safe space to share. Now here's the thing, as an ordained Christian minister that has been a source of concern, and I would even say pain for me, is that many of us have been taught in our religions that we're supposed to be a good Christian or a good Jew or a good Sikh or a good whatever, and so we're supposed to come looking a certain way.
Yes.
And we start putting on these masks as if we don't have any pain or any struggle, because if we're really good in whatever our religion is, you're not supposed to, note my quote, you're not supposed to have struggle.
Yes, exactly.
How can we help people, good religious people, know that it's important and it's human to have struggle, and that it's important to have a space, a safe space in which to talk about that? It might not be with a therapist.
That's right.
But what do you say to someone who has been socialized that in their religion certain things you don't talk about?
I would try to remind them, you know what, when you were talking.
If they're there now, what would you tell them?
I would tell you, remember David?
Who's David?
David in the Bible. David had to depend upon the Spirit because he messed up many different times. And he found out that the only way that he could get back in touch from his perspective with the Spirit was to let all of it happen. Are you kidding? If you read the Psalms, please, I ask everyone who happens to be a Christian, read the Psalms. When you read the Psalms, you're going to see David pouring it all out, saying some things that may be even embarrassing to you. We kind of slide over that because we focus on the fact that we're supposed to be this way. You're absolutely right.
And not just Christians.
That's right. That's right. And anybody who has been able to let themselves open up have found that freedom. People who come to me when they actually, the other day someone really cried their hearts out. Probably the first time, when we met, they cried the first time they've ever done that. But after they did that, you could tell that they felt much better.
And more powerful.
And absolutely more powerful. So there is a history of being able to do that, but we forget that.
Yeah.
We focus on the perfection that you got. But you see, that helps us because that means we don't have to share our business. That goes back to what you just said.
And there's even something in the culture now, in pop culture, that says, well, I can't tell you that or I'll have to kill you.
Yeah, right.
It's like so important that I keep my business that I don't feel safe enough with other people knowing. And so I urge you, if you're in any religious organization, and if you're in a position to help form, if they don't already have it, to help form groups where people can just talk. Something that we did very recently, I developed some case studies, as you know.
Oh, yes.
And a pastor used the case studies in their Bible study. And the discussion, and it was a whole range of topics that they had these case studies on. And people started sharing much more than they ever had. And they said, wow, we really like Bible study like this. It was not just Bible study, I've got to recite it, I've got to know what it says as it's something separate from my life, but I can really engage whatever we're talking about with my life.
Precisely, and that's what counts, that you can engage anything that you read that really hits you right here. That has to happen. And that is so very, very much important. And I think more of that, you said it, more of that is actually happening. And you suggested on television, people do it all the time because well, not all the time, but they do it because they need to. And I think what we're doing here in the Center of Spiritual Light is precisely what people need. I know it's what I need because it's not just a matter of my being able to help other people. I have something I want to express, and where do I get a chance to express that? It really is in the Center of Spiritual Life that I get an opportunity to let it all hang out. It's not only letting your frustrations out, there is a spirit inside of you that when you let your frustrations out, something else comes up. There was a spirit that helps you to say things that you never even thought you could say. Because you're being pushed to express that which you really are. And we're all, you've helped me the other day, we're all made exceedingly good. And because we're exceedingly good, eventually we get around to that. But we have to just let the other stuff out first in order to be able to do that.
Yes, we do.
So it's the Center of Spiritual Light is an example. It doesn't, as you suggest, it doesn't have to happen in the center. It can happen anywhere. Well, it happens all the time with us, all over the place. It doesn't just happen in our counseling. It happens on the street. It happens on, you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So, yes, you're right. You're on time.
So wherever you are and whatever you're going through in your life, we're just urging you, Reverend Fred and Dr. Cari sitting on the couch. It's not something we're just talking about, but it's something that we practice.
Absolutely.
We hope that if you don't have a safe space where you can express what you're feeling inside, where you might feel like you're dammed up in some way, something's blocked inside you.
Yes.
We urge you to find a space. And if you don't know where to look, give us a call or just call on the Spirit.
Oh my.
And ask God to show you where and who that you might go to that's a safe space for you, so that you can be full, you can be free, you can be whole, and you can live in joy. Bless you until next time on the couch.